Hello and welcome to the Rock Your Voice podcast. Vocal coaching tips that will transform your voice, interviews that will inspire, industry guidance, and so much more. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. On today's episode, I'm joined by Wendy Parr. She's a holistic vocal and artistic development coach, and she spent over 30 years empowering artists to unlock their authentic voice with confidence and consistency, no matter the challenge. From emerging talent to Grammy-winning icons, Wendy's helped artists break through not just by refining their sound, but by helping them connect with their true and most powerful expression. This is something that Wendy and I completely bond over, is helping the artists really connect to who they are, what they want, what they believe in, and why they are here doing what they are doing. This conversation is for you if you are an emerging artist wanting to really hone in on your sound and who you are as a creative. And before I hand you over to this conversation with Wendy, I do want to mention that applications are now open for our annual summer singer and songwriters retreat in Invermere, British Columbia, Canada. So head over to rocketvocalstudios.com/retreats for all the information on that. Without further ado, here is my conversation with the magnificent Wendy Parr. So I want to start kind of at the start. Where did your love of music and singing begin?
Literally, I was 3 years old. I heard a Barbra Streisand record. I pointed to that and said, I want to do that.
Nice. And you, like, the fact that you remember it was Barbra Streisand in it. Do you remember the song?
She was my first hero, like my first vocal artistic influence. Like I absolutely loved. I had 17 of her albums. Absolutely loved her. I mean, not that it sounds weird, but like we have a similar voice in terms of our tone. As it turned out, I ended up studying with her vocal coach, and I became a coach. But she was just my first, her acting in her music, her emotional expression. And then came Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin and Elton John, and Prince, and Fleetwood Mac in the 1970s, you know. So, but I knew I was a singer very young. I knew I was here to use my voice. Like I was told very young, you know, you have a good voice. You know, when my niece was 2 and she was singing, I was like, oh my gosh, she's a really good singer. And at 5, my brother looked at me and was like, she can sing, huh? I was like, oh yeah. And my niece, I started training when she was 8 years old. Like I heard it and heard it too. I knew it. Like I love this thing called singing. I love performing. I would put on shows, you know, at the family gatherings. And my daughter just did her first show. She's 3.5, and she just did her first. Let me gather the cousins and the aunts and uncles together. So we're like,
it's happening.
We had songs all day long. So, and my son loves to play the drums. So yeah, I knew very young that I'm here to use my voice, and that singing was like my vehicle. I think in many ways it saved me. You know, my home life was really chaotic and violent, and it gave me such a strong purpose that it focused me so much, like even over focused me. You know, I said to no to a lot of life experiences that later I was like, what were you thinking? Why didn't you take a semester at sea? You know?
Yeah.
You love traveling. So, but I think that the focus you know, I'm very passionate. I get very focused on things, and it was my focus. I started working professionally when I was 8.
Okay. Explain.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What?
I was doing musical theater. I was doing voiceovers. I was on a bunch of, you know, cereal commercials. I was doing TV. I was just already pursuing being, I was really in love with musical theater at that time when I was a kid. And I was pursuing a career. When I was 10, I handed my mom a piece of paper and said, this woman's a voice teacher. She doesn't teach kids, but she said she would teach me. And somewhere around 14 or 15, I handed my mom another piece of paper and said, this woman's an agent. And I would like to, you know, audition for her. So can you set that up?
How are you finding these people? How are you doing this research as a little entrepreneurial career starter? That's so adorable. I love that.
Crazy. At 15, I was talking to Whitney Houston's manager at Nippy, and I was calling him. Same. I don't remember how I got his number, but I sent him my demo. I'm calling him, and he said to me, he's like, I really love your persistence. I love your talent. Just keep sending me stuff. Keep calling me.
Yeah.
I was 15. At 16 and a half, that agent, that's how I met my voice teacher. That agent said, well, I think you can sing. I mean, I sang in front of her, and she said, but I want you to see my friend. He knows voices. I'd like his opinion. And that's how I had my first voice lesson. And I'd studied with Sandy Apshin. She was my first voice teacher when I was 10. And she kept it fun, and she didn't ruin my voice. So she was great.
Right. Yeah, winning.
Just keep it fun. Don't ruin the joy, and don't ruin the voice, right? And then at 15, before that, I started working with a gentleman who produced my first album, and I was writing songs. I was already writing. And first album, like demo, was an actual string section. Like there was no such thing as Pro Tools in a box, right?
Yeah.
So I was recording at midnight because rates were cheaper after midnight.
Hey, yeah.
And I liked to do things in 3 takes so I could, as my money,
Yeah.
And which, pros and cons. I rehearsed really well and I was ready, but then I also became like, it became the wrong idea of like, oh, I have to get this right and I have to get it right fast. Opposed to like, oh, we can explore and try things, which is so important. Like you need to explore things and not just get in a rote. So yeah, at 15, Motown had my demo and loved me, but didn't know what to do with a white 15-year-old girl who sang like with a big R&B voice.
Yeah.
And at 16 and a half, I made the final cut for the Broadway show for Les Mis for Eponine. Amazing. And I made the final cut for Carrie in the West End. And that was literally like the edge of being cast in 2 major shows to like, it was gone.
Oh, the journey.
I don't know what happened with the adults, but some weird thing happened with the adults. And it was like, that was the end of my musical theater opportunities. Yeah, I know rumors of what happened, but I don't know, Right. But it was really also the world going, I was already writing songs, loving pop, contemporary music. I started pursuing a career in, contemporary music, and I started teaching when I was 20. So there's the quick age 3 to 20.
I love that. There's some really interesting things that stick out to me in that story, which are kind of clearly have impacted the way that you work as a coach and in what you do. And I'd love to kind of take a minute to reflect on that. The brave little kid that was reaching out to all of these people and saying, I want to do this, and knowing and having that passion. But what it sounds to me like there was a lack of fear. And I don't know whether that's because of the youthful age and the naivety of the situation of the big of it, like just calling Whitney Houston, I'm just going to do that, because when I look back on my childhood and doing things like that, it was like, oh my gosh, I had the balls to do that. I would never do some of those things now. It's like, maybe it's because you don't realize the scale of it, but also it's just like being able to tap into that as an artist further down the road.
I think there's a mixture. I'll tell you a few other things that like say, I'm like, I did what, I think that there is a passion, purpose, and I have the personality and character that when I have a vision for something, I'm gonna make it happen. So I just go. And I get creative about it. So and I think there's a sense of a certain healthy ego that's like, yeah, this is what I'm here to do, so let's do it. And I didn't understand why my talent wasn't getting me certain places or why it wasn't enough. And it's not like in this industry, like I was just speaking with a young artist who's about to start my Compass program, and she's finding out the same. She said, I thought my talent would just be enough to like make things happen. And she's an incredible singer. Like she's remarkable. And I would say the same thing. I'm like, yeah, it's not. Like, I'm going to help you with other aspects of building your world and building community, and your visuals and your persona need to match that voice and talent. And, there were, so many opportunities that I can't say I missed them. That's not the right word, but I didn't know how to play a certain game, or I wouldn't play a certain game. And therefore those opportunities went bye-bye. Right.
Yeah.
And some of them I'm very grateful I couldn't play that game. And my naivete, I would say, saved me in many circumstances that I was I still am. Like I'm a magical child. I look at the wonder of the world, and I look at the world with wonder, and it saves me often from like precarious or even dangerous situations where they're like, oh, she's fine. or I'm not nervous when I should be. Patti LaBelle, another vocal hero of mine, she was she was playing in Anaheim, and you know, it's like Tom Jones, people pilgrim down to the
Right.
stage and give her gifts and give her flowers and give her stuffed animals. So I took flowers to her, and it's a theater in the round.
Mhm.
And now, mind you, I'm probably one of like 5 white people there. Just it's,
Okay.
you know, it's Patti LaBelle in around 88 to 90, somewhere in there. Well, actually, whenever New Attitude had come out, like that was her.
Right,
uh,
right, right.
no, not New Attitude. Feels like another one. That was like her hit at the time. But I'm about 20, 21, and I make a pilgrimage down to the stage with the flowers. And this is when there's like 10 men on stage dancing with her. And she's her stage, this is her break in the show, and she's dancing with them. And I hand her the flowers, and she looks at me, do you rap? And that's because there's a Big Daddy Kane rap in the middle of the song. It's like, no, but I sing. She goes, oh, okay. And she turns away. She comes back. She goes, you can sing? Can you really sing? I was like, Patti, I can sing. And she's like, okay, little girl, come on up. So I'm about 20. I don't remember the pants, but I remember my jacket. I had like this military style jacket. You know, it was a stage shit jacket. Like it was
Yeah.
get on stage. And she, you know, I'm in the line with the guys, and she's like, can you really sing? I was like, Patti, I can sing. And she goes, she does her thing. She goes, oh, feels like another one. Sticks the mic in my face. And I said, feels like another one. Girl, you can't sing. Hands me the mic, gives me the stage. And I finished out the song to her audience while she danced with the guys.
Amazing.
And now here's where the naivety, here's where like my youth and just like not understanding shit came in. Missing opportunities. At the end of the show, and this is like, for me, there are so many things in life that to me show me that like the world is orchestrated. There are things happening like way beyond our knowledge and control.
Mhm.
So I happen to be sitting on the aisle. I happen to be sitting on the aisle that everyone leaves stage to go backstage, and her music director grabbed me and brought me backstage.
Wow.
And now I'm backstage with Patti, who's wearing fluffy slippers and a big Mickey Mouse t-shirt. She's like, girl, you can sing. Do you know that Aretha Franklin song, Ain't No Way? I'm like, I sure do. Can you sing it? And now I'm singing Ain't No Way for Patti. And I'm like, there's a lot you don't remember about life. I remember this moment. It was very Patti LaBelle. And I'm 20 and I'm pursuing a recording career. And then she said, can we do that again? Can we have her stay for the second show? And we'll just pretend we don't know her, and let's do it again. Now, silly Wendy was like, oh, but I drove my friends. I need to drive them.
Right. Yeah.
Now, mind you, this is before Uber.
Yeah.
We are about an hour and a half away from home. So it's not like I grab a cat. Like at this point in my life, I'd be like, throw the keys to my friends. I'd be like, I'll find.
See you later.
Or I'd be like, guys, can you put me on the bus and like just take me closer? Like I would figure it out now, but then I didn't know how to seize that, right?
Yeah.
But I was not stupid. So that she was on tour. So I got tickets to the next show in San Diego. I drove to San Diego.
Wow.
I took one of my Patti LaBelle and the Bluebell albums so she could sign it.
Nice.
It was like her, you know, her from like 1960 something. And I got tickets, and her makeup artist Deborah was sitting in front of me, and she saw me, and I was like, you know, hey, oh, you're here. And at about the same time in the show, she called for some, you know, could someone come up on stage? And I went up, and I got up and I sang, and I traded riffs with her, and we did this about 3 times.
Oh, cool. Cool.
And then I was pursuing, you know, sending her my demo, her husband, who was her manager, like again, pursuing like, I'm looking for management, I'm pursuing a career. Yeah. And then about 7 or 8 years later, I did it again at Universal Amphitheater with her.
Amazing.
And she didn't know it was me that time. Yeah. Until I got on stage. Her pianist knew, her MD knew. They're like, I see you. And in some ways it seems like, I don't know. Part of me is like, 7 years later, what were you doing? I was coaching and I was still making music. But it was Patti, and I was like, should I go do that? It was one of those, just I turned on the radio, and it was the end of a commercial. Patti LaBelle, Universal Amphitheater, and it was over. And I was like, did I just get told to go there? Like,
yes. I love that.
And I did it. And she wasn't going to call me on stage because the setup was so different. They had barricades. You couldn't get next to the stage. Yeah. She's talking like, I say this story. It's really a remarkable story. I say it because as you pointed out, like it takes so much effort so much risk, so much gumption, you know? She's standing middle at the center stage talking to everyone. She's got a guy up there who raps and someone who dances. I need one more person, 6,000 people in this theater. I need one more person. And so I'm on side stage because I was like, I can get seats anywhere. I'm just going to walk down stage. It doesn't matter where I sit. And so from the side stage, she walks over and it's a big theater. It's like 6,000. And she says, she's like, oh, someone's really cute. Little white girl. Can you sing? I was like, yeah, Patty, I can sing. She's like, do you swear to God you can sing? I said, Patty, I can sing. She's like, okay, come on up. So I walk and the audience is going nuts. I walk all the way across front of stage, get to the stairs, get up. The piano player like waves at me.
Yeah.
And she goes, you know, gives me a hug and again, she's like, can you sing? I'm like, Patty, it's Wendy. She goes, Wendy. And then we're in. Same. She gave me the audience. I sang I had rehearsed. So I had prepared singing this Patti LaBelle song over whatever they're playing. And I had the whole amphitheater, everybody say, Patty. And then she and I traded riffs. It was, I mean, I'm talking about it now. I was a kid and it was really inspiring. You know, it was me being on stage saying, oh, I love it here. I want to be here fully. Like I'm so at home here. It was very special. It wasn't the trajectory of my career, but it was a magical experience. And I've since like seen her a few times and she's like, hey, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've coached people that she's working with.
Yeah.
It's, these are just, I mean, so many life experiences that for sure, like I went to India to make a record.
How
in the world do I have the guts to like go to a country I don't know a single soul except A.R. Rahman, who's like the greatest producer of Southeast Asia, and Shabana Azmi, who's like a premier actress. I do think that to be successful, to be in this business, you have to have a little bit of crazy, like the right kind of crazy. Let me just don't say crazy. You have to have a lot of passion and grit. You need to be determined to sing, to make music because you have to. Right. I don't think that should burn you out. I don't think that should make you entirely unhappy. I think that what success looks like is definitely different for each person. You need to decide what is success. Does success mean time with your kids and family? Is success touring? Is success, I want to be able to make music at home. I don't want to be on stage. I want to think. Like, you have to see what really serves you. Totally. You have to believe in yourself enough, a lot, and enough to feel like yes, I should be that one on stage. Yes, and you're doing the work to qualify.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Absolutely.
If you're taking time and attention and people buying tickets, please do your work.
Yeah.
Do your work to give a show that's going to move and excite people. Give a show that moves you. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't believe in being perfect. Like I mean, literally, I help people not be perfect. Yes. But I do believe in excellence. And I believe that the artist's number one job is to share your message and serve the audience, to move in people and take them on a journey that is specifically yours. Yes. Make music that is unique to you. You're both through your own storytelling and voice and in your arrangement and performance. Totally. And when you do that, it's fulfilling to you. You're going to love your life.
Yes.
And then it gets moved.
What would you say? Because there's a lot of like emerging artists will listen to this podcast, and there's a lot of people that I work with that, like you said, they have the talent, they have the skill, they have so much to offer, but there's that sort of glass wall of fear of stepping into that, and that being genuine and stepping into that thing, as opposed to being like, I'm a great performer, versus like, this is me, the artist, this is who I am, this is my, so like, I know that's a massive question, but what are your sort of suggestions, or what do you recommend, or how do you encourage artists to break through that and start to do exactly what you just said versus be like, I'm just a great performer?
Right. So one is, if you're a songwriter, write 100 songs. Mm-hmm. Write 100 songs to write 10 really, really good ones. Right. Write the same song 15 times in 15 ways so that one of them is the winner. It might not be the 15th version. You might get to 15 and go, actually 12 was like that. that's the highlight. That's the one. I'm overthinking it now or whatever, you know. Or that's my favorite. And your favorite when you write it may not be your favorite when you go to produce, because a sleeper ends up being your favorite when you go to produce. But somehow when the arrangements kick in and then the strings and that it just something happens with some songs, and other songs just don't get imagined and don't come to life quite the way you felt them before. And they're like, yeah, I'm not feeling that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're a performer, please perform live as much as you possibly. I was performing 5 nights a week when I was 15 years old. Like, in front of people your job is to move people and change them at a cellular level. And you cannot do that through a phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, you can, and you will, because it's part of the equation, but live is winning over a crowd that's talking, and
Yes.
it all makes you a stronger performer. So perform a lot to find out what songs work and what songs don't, how you connect and how you don't, you know. One artist I work with, we were touring, and they were touring, I was working with them on tour. And in the process of learning them, we found out she's an extrovert. I mean, she's an introvert.
Right.
And I was like, you know, you can be an introvert on stage. Like, it's who you are. So
Right.
I think that's why you're not comfortable with all the banter and like trying to pump up the crowd. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And then we realized it was because she came up on a certain tour, and that's what everyone on that tour did, that she thought, oh, that's the kind of performer I need to be, but it's actually not who she is. So it was like, bring them into your world, sit behind your piano, be quieter, like, and then that made everything change. Because so to answer your question more specifically, the first session I do with every artist is called Blueprint. I do it one-on-one with every artist. If they're a new artist or they're 20 years in the business, it's still the first session.
Yeah.
And it's one of the first sessions in the Compass Academy of my online classes, because it's the core and the foundation to learn everything after that. It's to start vocal training. And it's about going back to why you sing and what you love about music. And then starting to learn about your limiting beliefs and what you're actually doing when you sing. Am I doing what inspired me to pick up a hairbrush and stand in front of the mirror when I'm singing now? Or am I now worried about my audience and trying to be good?
Yeah.
Right. So that conversation is so important, to lose perfectionism and go back to listening to your inner vision. And then it is about literally, like, at every turn, can I ask myself, like, what in my wildest imagination, how do I see this performance? How do I hear this music? What do I want it to be? And then doing that, like going for it. Can you be bolder and bigger in your choices? Even if they're introverted choices, be bolder and bigger in being introverted. So can you follow your imagination to where it leads you, and then tweak, and then adjust, and then tweak, and then try it again? And you know, and with this equation is, you know, the artist is here to move the audience, and then part B is it landing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because if it's not, then you got to go, okay, well, what's not landing? Is it the lyric and the melody? Is it the arrangement? Is it the way I'm delivering it? Is it maybe this shouldn't be piano driven, it should be guitar driven, right? It's not all on the singer. It's not like, oh, it's my performance. No, there's so many reasons. And another artist I work with, their first one of their first big tours, they had a kind of a traditional pop setup. And it wasn't really landing, like it wasn't feeling right to the album, even though it's pop music, singer-songwriter style, but it wasn't matching. And then they changed their band setup to have a string section and less of a traditional pop setup. And therefore, you know, okay, different arrangements, and some things were being triggered and just using track, like this part will be on track, we'll get that from the track, but live we need string. And then that was it, that worked.
Yes,
and
I love that.
I know it. They figured that out, right? They realized this is not delivering the way I want it to. It's not feeling quite right to me. And they pondered and tried it out, and then they're like, there we go, that's what works. And then they stuck with it.
Totally. And I think that's so important, to revisit what does feel right. And being confident, knowing that going way, way back when you were younger or a child, or when this first struck you, and that sensation, just because you were a child doesn't mean it was foolish and whimsical. It's like that sensation is like, that's what we're striving to kind of dig back into. But polish over it all. And having that instinct as well to try and explore different arrangements, different sounds, different things, because I think certain artists get to a point in their career where it's like, well, here I am, I'm so fortunate to be this far, and this is what I have to work with, and I should just smile, stay put, and follow what I've been given. And
well, I think a lot of people get afraid, like when my audience won't like the change, or they won't follow me. Like, so I think it's the will they be okay with what I do that curtails your choices. And I'm like, that's backwards. Do you love what you're doing? Do you want to make a change? Then make the change.
Absolutely.
And some people will go with you and some won't. And then new people will find you.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
I mean, there's artists I'm a fan of, but I don't follow every album forever. I'm not that type of fan. But and some fans are. Yeah. And then some fans are like, I found you now. I'm so happy about this. Wow, I didn't even know who you were but yesterday. Amazing. And then you get a wider audience. But I agree. It's always checking in with, do I love this? Here's a silly story. It's not silly, but silly story. I was changing my logo because I just felt I'd outgrown my last one. It's really nice logo. Had a butterfly and a circle. All my logos have circles. I'm a real big fan of a wax seal, and I have 2 personalized wax seals, and I have wax, and I have a glass pen and inkwell. When I write letters, I like to write them like that. It's been a minute since I wrote a letter, but in fact, it sounds like a century.
65 was the last time I mailed my friend. I mean, do you have a carrier pigeon too? Like that?
I don't have that. I do not have a pigeon. But I love riding horses. I would pick a horse over a car at any chance I get.
I love that.
I love riding. So I love horses. So I just was like, this isn't feeling like me anymore. And I didn't have a new idea. I didn't have a graphic designer yet. So I was like, I just got to do something. And I was stressing about it. And my wife laughed and she's like, Wendy, you know what you like. You'll just figure it out. And I literally was like, yeah, I know what I like. And she was wearing an outfit that I got her. And I literally took a picture of it. And it was color blocked. And there was like peach and red. And I literally just asked one of my interns, I was like, can you make me? Because I was like, I know what I like.
Yeah.
And I'm a monochromatic person with multiple patterns and textures. So I said, can you give me a circle with an outer circle and make them like, give me an orange and a red, 2 tones of red, give me a blue version. And they should be like turquoise and royal, like things that are close together. And then a big WP in the middle. That's part of that blue series or part of it. So she gave me like 3 of them. And I was like, love it. Done. And it was made in Canva. I tweaked it. That was my logo for like 6 months or more until I redesigned my website and did a bunch of stuff. And that was it. It was like, you know what you like.
Yes.
And that's the answer. And that means finding people. This is very important. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It means finding people, co-writers, collaborators, and producers who respect your creativity to listen and help create what you like.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You're working with someone who's like, no, I know what I'm doing. And young female or young artist. I say female because it happens a lot to young female.
Absolutely.
You don't know more than me. And yes, you do. You know what you love, and you're creating art that's meant for you to perform. Follow what you love. And then check, is it landing? Because if you love it, no one gets it. That doesn't work. But if you love it, people are like starting to feel it and resonate. You're follow that thread.
Absolutely. Like, I love that so much. I literally spent hours yesterday with a young artist, and she's very young, just starting out, and we were digging into that of like to actually understand and know what it is that she likes, because right now she's at that point where there's so many influences, so many ideas, and so many, sadly, they're like, what should I be? What should I like? Who should I, all this kind of stuff. And exactly as you say, working with sort of writers and producers who are far senior to her. And so of course it's like, I must believe what they tell me and go along with that. But it's like, let's figure out who you truly are. And like, let's attract the people who are attracted to that, and not just doing it for the sake of doing it. Like, who are you? What do you like? I just love when you described, I know what I like. It's the monochromatic pattern. And it's just like, to be able to have that at your fingertips as an artist is so important.
Essential. This is how I started.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good way to start. And then I created Compass, a 6-month artist development program, because I found that 3 to 5% of artists that I work with, and I'm talking professionals, have a sense of who they are outside of making songs and making music.
Right.
And you need to have a stage show and social media content and a persona on both stage and I don't mean persona separate from you. I mean, you are artistic persona, the version of you that's the rock star on stage. What parts of you are you magnifying and highlighting and making them 100-fold, right? And the other parts are like, that's my private life. So I started in a personal level to just ask myself, literally, what do you want? What do you want for dinner? And what do you like? Like, learning what I liked. It happened when I was older. I really wasn't allowed, like in my home, I wasn't allowed a lot of opinion. I wasn't allowed a lot of choices. So as an adult, I started asking myself. So it's like, start with the stakes that are small. There's no stakes in like, what do you want for dinner? So what do you want for dinner? And when you're like, I would answer, I don't know. And it's like, okay, well, when you know, that's what we'll get. And then there was the choice of, if my friends were going out, I'm like, well, I feel like tacos, but they want to go for sushi. What matters more to me, getting tacos or being with my friends tonight? It's tonight. And another night was like tacos, so follow, like, just ask yourself, constantly ask, do I like this? Does this feel good to me? Is this my choice? Do I want this? Am I doing it because someone told me I should?
Right.
Literally ask yourself when the stakes are small, because you're going to practice the muscle and the ability to answer, this is what I like and believe in. When the stakes are higher, you'll have this, right? And so Compass was things that I was doing one-on-one with artists, like sound chart. Sound chart is both a class in the Compass Academy where it's available to take, and it's part of our Compass Pro program, where we look at the music that you love in a very distinct way. I have people gather this in a very specific way, and we look at it, and then we're going to distill it through a 3-step process to a recipe on paper that we're like, these are the ingredients that I love in music, and I didn't even realize it.
Yes.
Right. One artist who did sound chart, she was like, I can't believe how obvious this is, and I never saw it before. And she was like, I thought my taste in music was so eclectic, but it turns out I actually just really like these same things, no matter the genre.
How you can filter that down and pull it out. Like, sometimes I'll talk to artists and we'll build like the playlist of all of their favorite stuff, and it turns out the top 3 are like completely different artists, same producer. And it's like, okay, so there's clearly a sound and a vibe that you love. So like, let's find out, let's get you down that path. So there's always something that strings it all together, which I think is so fascinating.
Sure. And then it's also like, how do I take my love of, like, Mark Basie was like, I've never really known how to take my love of folk music and funk and bring them together. I got you. And we process, and he made Folk Hero Funk, the album, and he really created a sound. And it is distilling it to where you're like, okay, if it's dark and edgy, you're going to have it on paper. And then, okay, now we're going to go in the studio. Is the dark and edgy the cello or the synth? Is it in my vocal performance? Like, is this ingredient in all my songs, or is this cinnamon in 2 songs? One artist discovered that, they're very 80s. They're very 80s visually. They're very 80s. And then they discovered, but actually none of their music they loved was 80s. You're like, oh, holy cow, I can't believe there's nothing here that's 80s. And they're like, oh, I love this genre that's old, and I like this genre that's modern. And we're like, and together it's your sound.
Yeah.
For me, I love hip hop. I grew up on hip hop and rap. I love hip hop. My first playlist that I ever made had no hip hop. No, that's not true. Had 2 Tupac songs, and they both were samples. And what I found was, actually the root of what I love is gospel.
Okay. Yeah.
And in gospel, there's call and response. And everything I do has call and response, whether it's an instrument to the vocal or background vocal to vocal. Like, I love call and response. And I love polyrhythms, and I love the backbeat. The record that I went to make in India, that was for myself, Alex Wong, he was my producer, and one day he was setting up a drum kit. I was like, what are you doing? I was thinking about a drum kit for this song. I was like, I hate cymbals. I was like, I don't think so, but let's play, And there's actually one song on that whole record that's this one song that's like Motown meets Mumbai that has more traditional drum kit, but it's full of snares and toms. And that day we actually took that drum kit and he played the big bass drum, like he played it with a big mallet, hitting it this way. And we did a lot of snares on that record, but there's no traditional drum kit, lots of toms and lots of drums and percussion. I remember he wrote me a birthday card. He was like, no cymbals.
Knowing what you like and what you don't like is equally as important.
Yes, I don't like, they really sit exactly where the female voice is. I'm like, which also, Elliot Jacobson, drummer for Ingrid Michaelson, and he's a producer and he's manager now. When he played drums, and then later, like there are a few others, but I remember when I was performing, we were doing some vocals for Ingrid and working with her, and a whole group of us were doing some fun stuff for the Christmas show, and we were doing harmonies and stuff for her album. And he was playing, and I said, you, Elliot, you make me like cymbals.
There you go.
It's just the way he played them. And he's like, yeah, you're not supposed to just ride the ride. I'm like, hey.
And again, just the observation of just if you're a young artist coming up, like go explore and play and experience all the different things. Like when working with one drummer to the next can change the entire scheme of things. So just you might have an awesome friendship, or your brother might be a drummer or whatever, and it's like, this is our band now. It's like, please don't lock yourself into that, because it just changes the game.
Everything.
Entirely.
So when I was really young and I was hiring a guitar player, we were working together, and so he started playing something, and again, it's learning the language to communicate, right? Learning what you love and the language. So he was playing something, and I said, if I wanted you to play that, what would I call it? Because I didn't even know. I didn't know what to call it. I was so young. And he said, these are arpeggios. I was like, I love that. Okay, arpeggios. And I literally wrote it down. Yeah. And I love arpeggios. I love arpeggiated playing style. And then he played something else. I was like, what do you call that? He said power chords. I was like, I hate those. Don't do that. Now, again, there's definitely a place where that belongs, but it was learning, like, what do you call that? I like it. What do you call that? I don't like it. And that's the same question I said about you as a person. Like, just ask yourself, what do I like? And then start noting it. And then asking the musician, like, what is that? If I wanted something like that, being able to play samples is very helpful. Like, I love the sound of this. What makes this feeling happen? Oh, it's the string management. Or, why am I emotionally responding to this? What is it that I love about it? Because then you can recreate it in your own way, and you can bring those ingredients together.
Totally. And it's, again, brilliant advice. I've seen artists kind of shut down almost and feel intimidated when they're around musicians who are high level, and just be like, well, I don't know how to explain what I want, and I don't know how to say this, and I just like, I'll just go along with it. And it's like, but that's not why you're here. Like, take a step back, go back and learn a bit more, and like find what it is you want to say, figure out how to say it, learn that. Don't just be
do the work.
Do
the work to find out, and don't be shut down by your limitation. Like, learn how to break through that limitation. Absolutely.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right, about finding the right players. So I would always ask, if I was hiring for my own band or for another artist, I'd always ask a musician, like, what's your favorite style of music? And most musicians would say, I can play anything, because they want the job. But I'd say, yes, but if you had like your dream band or your dream tour, what would it be? And then they'll say like, I love heavy metal, or I love jazz, or I love whatever it is. And I would know from their propensity, like, that's going to fit me or that won't.
Right.
Because they're going to lean into their tendencies. And if their tendencies are in a direction that don't fit me, it's not going to be a sound. They're not going to play this song the way I want to feel it. So that's a good question to ask. Like, what's your favorite style of music?
Absolutely. And doing it for the music versus like, oh, but they're a great person, I really want to give them the gig, or like what have you. Like there's a lot of great people, and obviously you want to be touring and on the road with great people
Yes.
who are versatile. But again, I mean, depending on you knowing what your outcomes are and what you want and what you need. So
Yeah.
so many factors of that. And I think I love this conversation because it comes back around to more than anything, knowing yourself, knowing what you want, what makes you feel good, and not necessarily standing out by not fitting in.
So fitting in is a curse,
Yeah.
but fitting in is actually going to get you the opposite of what you want. So you want to belong, you want to feel connection, and when you try to fit in, you're actually making yourself smaller.
Yeah.
You're eliminating parts of yourself so that you'll be approved of by that group.
Yes. Yes.
Instead, be the artist who is just being you. I'm going to be all my weird self. I'm going to show up. And then the community, you're going to bring people in that fit into your world. And I went through, we all did, but I went through a teenage experience of like, oh my gosh, I can't play music for anyone. They won't like what I like.
Right.
And now I was like, oh, do you want to hear my favorite Hindustani song or Carnatic song? Or have you heard Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan? I listened to Spanish music for 2 years. Oh, have you heard India Martinez? Have you heard, like, I'll play you things that I love. And if you like it, cool. I just turned you on to someone new. And if you don't, bummer. But it's not even a bummer. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you don't like that one? Well, listen to it for 2 more minutes. Or let me play you something else. Like, I really don't care anymore. Because I'm sharing my joy with people, and if they dig it. And I remember once AR Rahman and I were showing each other things on YouTube of like old Indian films or songs, and his wife was like, oh, come on, AR, leave her alone. And he's like, no, she started it. Like, do you know this song from this movie? It's my favorite.
And just having that exploration and not being, find people who are going to share all of that stuff and take you down the rabbit holes and all of that stuff. Sit until 3 o'clock in the morning, just like, oh my gosh, try this, hear this. That's just, it's so important, as opposed to like, this is me, this is my genre, this is the box that I'm living in and I fit in. And yeah.
I think boxes are made up. Format radio is made up. But it's human beings finding a shortcut and a lazy way to go, oh, I think we're alike, I belong and I feel safe with you. But artists are the weirdos and we're all weird. If you're not, you're repressing yourself. But it's please, it's like, be the trendsetter, create a world that you love, and the people who dig you will find you, and then you'll be like, have a life that's just free to be who you are and in your people, and you're like, oh, I just get to live in my skin, and it's cool. Alec Chambers, who took Compass with me, that's basically like the big takeaway he got. He said, it's just easier now. I'm not trying to do anything cool. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just being myself, making music that I care about. And in fact, he started sharing much more on his social media. He started sharing about, he has a stutter and he'd never spoken about that. He started connecting on that. He ended up getting involved with a charity that helps other people that have it. And so his world expanded with his truth, with him showing up authentically. His world expanded and he got easier. He's like, this is easier.
Yes. That authenticity versus having to kind of fit something else.
Yeah.
Trying so hard. That's I think where the burnout and the addiction and all that craziness starts to really hit.
I think the burnout also happens because we live in a capitalistic world that keeps demanding output and output and output. And no one's designed to do that all the time. You need rest, you need quiet time, you need enough quiet and life experience to have something to write about. People used to go away for 7 months to make an album. Making an album is a place, it's an experience. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna write 100 songs, just write. So I think that you have to find that balance for yourself. How do I create, and how do I gain inspiration and live life?
Yes.
There's, because things are seasonal and cyclical. Like to write a song, it needs to marinate sometimes. Like some songs take a year to write. If you're a person that takes for a long time to write a song, I would encourage you to give yourself a short deadline and say, okay, I'm going to write a song every month, because it usually takes you 6. And if you're a person who's like, oh, I write songs very quickly, I would encourage you to do 5 more drafts before you say I'm done. To work against your habit, right?
Absolutely.
And learn something new in that process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is all such brilliant advice. Wendy, it's so lovely to chat with you, and
This gorgeous.
thank you so much for sharing all of your time and all of these amazing.
Emma, you're my people.
Yay! Oh, I love it. And obviously there's clearly room for much more for us to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll have to set something up to chat another time, but it's hard to share all of the things that we're passionate about in a short space of time. So there's always room for more, but thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like to impart on any of the sort of emerging upcoming artists that love to listen to this show? Is there anything that you would be like, this is one thing that you really need to keep in mind? I mean, obviously you've dropped some gold already.
I would say lean into your strengths and learn skills to up your lesser strengths. That if there's something that you don't feel as strong at, but you need it for your business, like learn up those skills, but lean and highlight, your strengths. If you're goofy, please be goofy.
Yes.
Don't hide that business, be goofy.
Yes.
In fact, exacerbate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I did, like I reached out to Nippy, like I reached out to to find my own agent, like reach out. The internet, like literally everybody's at your fingertips. Reach out, because you never know where a yes will come from, or a potential collaboration will come from, or a piece of advice. I get DMs all the time with questions, and I answer them.
Yeah.
I do. And if anything I said interests you, check out, join my mailing list. I put out a blog and I give creative tips, my social media. I'm constantly sharing creative ideas and tips. And my online courses are there because I want to be able to share what I have with more people. So please feel free to find me.
And I'll get all the links from you, Wendy, and I'll make sure the links are in the show notes too, so people can go ahead and look you up and follow and sign up for your mailing list and stuff too.
And thank you. Thanks for having me. And I love these conversations. Like I loved this conversation. It's
amazing. No,
it's the sanity of the world to me.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me pontificate.
A huge thank you to Wendy for taking the time to chat with me today. And of course, please head over to wendyparr.com. That's Wendy, PARR.com. I will put all the links in the show notes to check out all about her Compass program and how she works with artists. If you're interested in learning more or setting up a time to chat with her, head over to the website. Obviously on social media also, you can connect with Wendy and see what she's up to. So thank you so much, Wendy. And thank you to you for listening. And if you are an emerging artist branching out and building your career, please keep in touch. Here to support you, and would love to see what you're up to. So you can always reach out to. Links are in the show notes, and we'll be back again with more very, very soon. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe. It helps other listeners just like you discover the show. Also, I'd love you to follow along on social media. It's Rocket Vocal Studios. That's ROCKIT Vocal Studios. If you have any questions at all, I am here for you and your voice. Email me, emma@rocketvocalstudios.com. Would love to chat. If you ever want a session, if you want to nerd out about the voice, I am here for you. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day. We'll see you next time.